Hello everybody and welcome to the third round of the Hybrid Simsport Road Series at the Tasman Racing League. It is round 3 of season 3. 35 laps on the books tonight for the third round of our championship after last week's 45 at St Petersburg, which gave us one of the most extraordinary races we've seen to date in this series, I would say. We've got about 25, actually nearly 30 drivers in the field again here tonight, ready for another round of this championship. GT3s and TCRs merging again in this series. It's myself, Ewan O'Leary, and John Wright taking you through the action tonight in the commentary box. No Boone Blake, unfortunately, who'll hopefully be back in the coming weeks. Next week, indeed, with Catalonia on the cards. But John, good to be back after a week away because of the St Petersburg race. 45 laps around there was quite extraordinary, really. I'm not sure. Well, I haven't seen a race like this in this series. I'm not sure we will again anytime soon. It was quite extraordinary, and coming back down to earth this week with a road course, although it is a roval, unusual in its own ways as well.
Indeed, yeah, good evening everyone. Thank you very much, Ewan. Great to be back once again. Yep, St Petersburg once again. King of the understatement, Mr Ewan O'Leary there, folks. Extraordinary is a massive understatement to what we saw last week at St Petersburg. It was absolutely incredible. Turn 4 will be tattooed on the brains of many, many, many drivers. So the wall, just to the left of it as well. They'll be hoping to avoid the walls here because it is a very, very, very different outing the drivers have got ahead of them today. The historic, monumental road course track that was built back in 1909. It is Indianapolis. 94% chance of rain as well apparently. Fingers crossed, the rain dance is on. But yeah, certainly a very different experience to the one that drivers have got last week. No less treacherous, I would say. Turn 1 here, a whole lot of fun on lap number 2. And we should be treated to another absolute cracker out here tonight, Ewan.
We should be. So it's the third round of our championship. So in our championship standings, we do have a little bit of merit to what they look like at the moment, although it is with one drop round, so it does make things a little bit different. Jason Snedden won the first round of the championship ahead of Terry Visser, who won in the has been winning in the TCRs. Lewis Paja winning the second round as well from third. Jeremy Newton, Bradley Austin rounding out the top 5. Carl Douglas, Patrick Robinson, Jay Stern, Match Joan and AJ Gilroy rounding out the top 10, and the rest of them on your screen further down. So far this season, there's already been 32 drivers actually take part and score points over the course of this season, so there's an awful lot of them, and there's perhaps even more to come before the end of the season as well. But in the field tonight, we should have around 30, I think exactly 30 actually. 28 drivers currently have set a lap time. Patrick Robinson has yet to do so, and he's running out of time to do so really. There's only 30 seconds left in this qualifying session. And very shortly he'll be out of time. He gets a lap in right at the end there in the TCRs. But we're continuing to learn, aren't we, really, about the GT3 and TCR interaction on the racetrack, and numbers more so than last week, really, at St. Petersburg. Although, to be honest, I think if it was just a GT3 race, we would have seen quite a chaotic race around there anyway.
Yeah, St. Petersburg. Interesting road course, to say the least. You get a runway, a literal runway to drive along, and then you get the rest of the track is surrounded by walls that are about a matchbox away from the edge of the track, if even that. So yeah, even with just the GT3s, it would have been an interesting race, but the TCR's thrown in there as well. It's certainly making it an interesting proposition for both sets of drivers, given the difference in pace. Certainly corner exit speed, absolutely undoubtedly, with the GT3s, and the cornering ability again with the GT3s. There's been some good interactions. The GT3 drivers have said themselves that most of the issues have come from the GT3 drivers, so they are well aware of that. It's not the easiest to make your way round. Lots going on in the chat as well. I'm looking forward to seeing the liveries this week, Ewan. There's been a lot of talk in the chat about the liveries, but we do have some qualifying results to look at.
Indeed, and a starting grid for race 3 of our season. It is David Webb who takes pole in front of Max Forgione by nearly half a second on this occasion. Jeremy Newton third, and Lewis Bahaja, perhaps surprisingly, in 4th place. Nicholas Crawford is next to Drew Collins, with Chris Fitzgerald and Brody Daff on row 4. Nicholas Heath and Aaron Gilbert rounding out the top 10. Already well over a second off pole down here, by the way, outside the top 10. Joe De La Rosa in 11th, head of Aston Kulf. Then it is Stephen Scully and John Bates and all Porsche, row 7, in front of Kyle Douglas and Jordan Nelson. Tim Pattinson, Dale Horn and all McLaren, row 9, ahead of Daniel McMasters and Jason Hutchins. The TCR pole sitter, Jack Toby's in there as well. I'm not sure what car he's driving though, so we'll try and get that one figured out. Anyway, Lucas Blake is the TCR pole sitter in front of Terry Visser and Michael Sanders in the top 3. Rob Tilley and Dave Carney on the next row, ahead of Patrick Robinson, who did get a time in towards the end there. Dan Hutchins is in 28th. He is in a TCR, though. We'll try and get that changed from GT3, so ignore that. He is in a TCR. Zach Vlitstra is the final driver to set a time. Jay Stern didn't set a time. He is in a GT3. He's starting from the very back. Matthew Sir won't start, of course. He is our pit. He's our race control guy, so he won't be taking to the green flag in just a moment. We're probably not far away from getting the green flag waving and getting this race underway. And that long run down in towards turn 1, it's very, very foggy. As the lights go out, we're underway, and that's a good start on the inside from Lewis Bahaja. He's 3 wide already, looking for the race lead. What a start from him. A great launch off the line. He gets past Forgione already. He's alongside and past David Webb as well. Oh, there's trouble there on the outside for Newton. He just about avoids trouble as they come through the first sector for the first time. Lewis Bahaja fires off the line, and he gains 3 places before they've even reached turn 1, and he leads coming out of the first sector for the first time, and there's trouble behind. Newton and Chris Fitzgerald getting into contact.
There's been a couple of contacts here. Lewis Behadjer, what a rocket of a start for him, and David Webb. We did have an incident further down the field. Let's have a quick look at this one while the first lap opens itself out. It's an Eskimo Tech replay, and it is turn number 1. They're all over the curbs. The Mercedes completely loses it. Oh, and Aston Kulf ends up completely the wrong way round. We'll see if he can recover. There was Jeremy Newton, I think, had a quick off track as well. He does seem to have recovered. Terry Visser has rocketed into the lead. In fact, Jack Tovey confirmed he is in a GT3. We'll try and get that one fixed, but he is off track. Lucas Blake, I'm trying to jump on board with. It's all over the place here. I absolutely can't find the TCRs. They're completely all over the place. There's Terry Visser, so he has taken second place, because Patrick Robinson.
Oh! And there's a dive from Visser. He retakes the lead. So all sorts of carnage happening here in the TCR class, because all of the issues of the GT3s just sort of get dumped on the TCRs here as they come through. So Robinson goes round the outside now, and he will take the lead of the class. Here on the outside comes Rob Tilley as well. There's a McLaren of Aston Kulf in here. Oh my word, he's boxed in there. He can't actually move. Here comes McMasters, who hasn't managed to not box himself in. Kulf is still there. It's 4 wide coming towards turn 1, and somehow they make it work down there. That's quite remarkable. Kulf still getting battered around here. Look at that, Vleetstra making contact with him there. He's still stuck here, is Kulf. This is not good traffic management, really. Jay Stern is just in behind him at the moment as well, coming through the opening sector. McMaster's very much clear of this now, but Kulf is still trying to work his way through and can't quite do it for the moment. He just boxed himself in on the front straight, really, and he's felt the effects. Oh dear, Chris Fitzgerald there has got big damage. We've already seen him make contact with Jeremy Newton. Well, he's made bigger contact with the wall now, and he's towed back to pit lane.
We've seen a few cars last week with the front wheel not rotating. The back wheels, the back end of that McLaren of Chris Fitzgerald, absolutely disintegrated. And yeah, that's going to be a quick jump back to the pits. I mean, an absolutely demon start from Lewis. Oh, he's gone. Oh, there's a tap on the rear. Is that Lucas Blake that's just caught him there? It is.
Might have been. Yeah, might have been. It's Vleetstra who went the other way and drops to the back of the TCR field, by the way. All sorts happening in the TCR field, but out front Lewis Behadjer leads, and what a launch it was from him off of the line. David Webb took pole by nearly half a second in this race, but Behadjer holds the lead and is he's not running away with it, but he's controlling this race early on in towards the second half of the lap here as they run down towards turn 7. And Webb can't get through just for the moment, but he is applying the pressure to Behadjer, who's not running away in the way that we have seen sometimes in the past.
Yeah, Lewis does like to stretch those legs out with the front of the field. I mean, he's no stranger to carving his way through the field, but certainly running away with it is something that we've seen him do several times over. Not to be at this time. It was an incredible start. Again, the start that Behadjer got was absolutely just a complete and utter rocket, and in fact, I think we could maybe have another quick look at it as well and see. There is Behadjer there. Hopefully the replay is going to be straight away. Yep, there we go, and we're up and running, and you can see on that outside line he just absolutely full sends it. They're going 3 wide, almost goes 4 wide with that Lamborghini in the back end. The Lamborghini misses its brakes, but Behadjer, beautiful manoeuvring to get his car onto that apex, and look at the gap he gives himself on that corner exit. It is very nicely done indeed by our champion-elect, certainly the returning defending champion, and if it wasn't for drop rounds he'd be all square with Snedden up at the front of the field. And these two now a 10th between them. Nicholas Crawford and Tim Pattinson have just swapped positions as well, and Rob Tilley is up into second place in the TCRs. So that is quite the run, whoa, for him. And Behadjer not looking very settled over those curbs at all, Ewan, and Webb really is in this one for the race win here.
Yeah, he is applying the pressure, and Max Forgione's not that far away either. Forgione did a good performance last week at St Petersburg as well. I believe he was on the podium, and he is on the podium right now as well, chasing these two Porsches out front. But So much happening up and down the field. So many positions changing. TCR, Patrick Robinson leads ahead of Rob Tilley, but there's also Michael Sanders there as well. Aaron Gilbert and Dale Horn just exchanged places for 13th as well, and that's Gilbert moving up a position. And in the background of that shot, Lucas Blake was looking down the inside of Terry Visser, but this is not the race that Terry Visser would have liked so far. He's currently down in 22nd overall and behind quite a few of these fellow TCRs. Not the ideal start, but there is a long way to go. Jordan Nelson comes into pit lane meantime as we start lap 5. This is what's happened through the final couple of corners. Aaron Gilbert getting, well, roundly punted there by Tim Pattinson, I think it was, and sent around into a spin.
A bit of a messy one there. That was definitely a tap in the rear. It's getting even closer up at the front of the field, though. Here comes Max Forgione. Buhagiar and Webb unable to sort out their affairs so far, and Max Forgione, well, we know he's got a bit of pace. He's already shown that this season he had a bit of an off race round 1, certainly brought it back together again a bit in round number 2, and he is the rear gunner of this podium display that we've got here. Drew Collins leading the chasing pack, which is already 3 seconds down the road. So it looks like these three trying to do Buhagiar up at the front of the field. Jay Stern looks like he's about to lie up and overtake as well. Good to see Jay actually managed to finish one of the races yesterday. He had a horrendous luck on lap 1. He's going for the inside line here, doesn't manage to get it. Had horrendous luck lap 1 on the ovals yesterday, and then lap 4 we've got a safety car and it almost got him back into the top 5. So definitely turn around in his luck. It is difficult to know where to look because Michael Sanders is certainly eyeing up an overtake at the moment. It's Rob Tilley that he's got ahead of him. Definitely not biased here, but it'd be great to see Tilley win again because his videos are amazing, quite frankly. But he's got Robinson in front of him and Sanders behind him. A very close battle there. Now Gilbert has come into the pits, and the lead of the race might be about to change hands in the GT3s. It's the battle of the Porsches, and I think we both know, Ewan, who's favourite here. Max Forgione for the lead.
Well, maybe, yeah. It is sometimes the best place to be in third here. The TCRs are not that far up the road here, so you do wonder whether they're going to play a big role or how big of a role they're going to play here. Aaron Gilbert comes into the pit lane already in this race. There's the track map. The leading battle's just coming down towards turn 1, but the latter end of the TCR is just coming over the line now, just as we're coming around the final couple of corners for the GT3. So in terms of catching the leading battle, which is now 5 TCRs, by the way, they're a little way away from that, but they are not that far away from a little bit of lap traffic. In fact, there's one of the Aston Martins just going through the bottom of his screen, by the way. It's been quite delayed in this race. That's Jordan Nelson, who is already about to go a lap down in this race. He has already made a pit stop, to be fair, as has Aaron Gilbert, as I just said, and Chris Fitzgerald as well with that big damage. I'm glad to say he's back in the race again. Brody Daff has got a penalty meantime. I wonder if that's a race control one or if he's got something else going wrong there. But he has got a black flag next to his name in 11th. And there goes Nelson pulling out of the way for these guys. And just as well, because look at the fight coming towards turn 7. David Webb is consistently very close to Buhagiar, but not wanting to make a move just yet.
He's certainly keeping his powder dry. Fancies being the hunter rather than the hunted at the minute. It would seem only 7/10 separating the top 3 in the GT3s, and it is much the same, it has to be said, in the TCRs. We've got Robinson leading the way with Tilley and Sanders, again only 7/10 behind them. Terry Visser, back-to-back wins so far this season. That's a GT3 that's just gone past. That's Jeremy Newton that's just gone through, and he is weaving his way past. He's got a 3-way battle to try and get past here though, so he has to be very respectful. And he does indeed respect the drivers ahead. He'll get them on the next straightaway. But Robinson with a tenuous lead in the GT3. Speaking of tenuous leads, David Webb is going to force us to have a look over here again. You're into turn number 1. He's going to hang on to the outside line. He's not going to make it. And here comes Forgione. TCR getting out of the way. Forgione almost tapping Webb in the rear there. Webb almost taking the lead. Still keeping the powder dry. And that wasn't, in fact, turn number 1. I always get those two confused. and they're weaving their way through. Oh, it was turn 1, sorry, yes, of course it was. The fog. And my old age in the eyes are failing me miserably here. But yeah, certainly Webb, again, it's an interesting proposition for Buhaj here, because it is, Webb is just absolutely tailing him here. Yeah, it's a complete, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, he's literally stalking him up at the front here. 8 laps and these two have only been separated by 0.3 of a second, so Webb well and truly hanging in. And any ideas that Buhajer had of a potentially easy runaway into the distance win are absolutely being quelled by Webb, and of course Forgione behind. Forgione really is keeping himself in the hunt here, and they're not losing time to the rest of the field here, Ewan. They're now 4 seconds ahead of Drew Collins, so the top 3 here really are the top 3 in the GT3s, and they're putting the foot down.
Yeah, they're the top 3 definitively early on here as they come down the front straight again. Oh no! One of the TCRs smashes into David Webb. What was that all about? That looked like Dave Carney on the road there, and he's got damage as well. David Webb must have damage though. That was disastrous. He pulled in towards the racing line there. I've no idea what he was doing, to be honest. Buhajer was going around one side, Webb was just trying to follow, and the TCR just turned hard left straight into Webb, who's now got pretty severe damage. I'm not sure who it was. I think it was Dave Carney, who's quite slow actually now as a result of that contact. But what was that all about on the front straight? That was very bizarre, and David Webb has got damage as a result of that incident on the front straight.
Yeah, that is not what you like to see there. I'm not sure if his radar just failed him or what went on there, but that was a full-blooded ice hockey shoulder charge into the barrier there. That would have been, certainly wouldn't have been out of place in any type of NFL match, and it's certainly given David Webb an interesting proposition if he is carrying damage. Oh, and Forgione's gone for it. Forgione sent it up the inside, and he's managed to get himself past Webb. That damage for Webb is really going to cost him, and Forgione is not wasting any time at all. He is taking up the mantle that Webb once held, and he really does have a very, very, very good look at the rear spoiler of Buhajer's car now. But Webb, who was looking at it, we've even got mentions in the chat saying that David is going to give Lewis a real run for his money today. Well, he is if he doesn't get shoulder charged into a wall. That is an unfortunate contact. We are not 100% sure what's going on there. He just clearly didn't know he was there. There's no way that was done deliberately. It was a very strange one though, and it has changed the podium battle ever so slightly. It's still the same 3 drivers, Ewan, but it's now Max Forgione who's forging onwards and is looking a real threat to Buhajer's lead now.
Yeah, it must have been accidental, as you say. Must have been unsighted for whatever reason. But here comes Forgione now. Will he be more aggressive with Lewis Buhajer? Because the thing about David Webb when he was in this position was that, yes, he was stalking him and staying really close, crawling all over the back of the Porsche who was leading, but never really showed any signs of actually making the pass for the lead here. Forgione wasn't waiting around to see if Webb had damage there and see if he was going to slip away from Buhajer. He just went and did it down here at the final sector. Turn 12 this is, through the right-hander. Wonder whether he'll do the same with Buhajer, whether he'll wait around or whether he'll continue trailing him for a while. Tovis is leading again in the TCRs. Lucas Blake heads down the inside there to get back into second, ahead of Rob Tilley, then Michael Sanders. Jordan Nelson is going to be taking these guys for position in a moment. That TCR just in behind them is obviously Sanders in the 4th of the positions, and then lots of GT3s coming across the line here. I think this is Scully, Bates and Douglas who are all fighting for position here. Thankfully, much more orderly coming over the line this time round, but this is where the traffic, which has been such a feature of this season already, is really coming into play.
Yep, it really is. There we go. We had a line of GT3s up the inside, a line of TCRs on the outside, and they've almost swapped position there. There was a little bit of wing mirror paint exchanging there going into the corner, and the Porsche swings around the outside. That's Crawford just making his way past. He's now got Lucas Blake ahead of him, but yeah, Visser back in the lead. Blake back up to 2nd place, and Rob Tilley holding on to 3rd, although he's very much holding the attention of Michael Sanders. The KFC livery. He is certainly cooking at the moment, and he has got the drivers ahead on the pit. Oh, and that's a big send over the curbs there. That's not gone well at all, and that is a crash, and that is Joe Della Rosa. Another Eskimo Tech replay. We can see we just caught it in the background there. He's gone full dive up the inside. Oh, he was never making that corner. He's missed his brakes there. Never making the corner. Collects the back of one of the... Terry Visor's crashed. Terry Visor has crashed. Let's get a replay of this. Not sure what's going on there. Let's cheat a bit and go for a quick rewind because it's not giving us the actual incident. But he's ended up... Oh, so it was the same incident. My apologies. Yeah, it was the Joe Della Rosa incident. And it's Terry Visor, the race leader. Look how far back he comes from there and absolutely annihilates that poor little Honda Civic. Well, just as well, that's a part rally car as well, Ewan, because that's a lot of grass cutting he's just done there.
That is a lot of grass cutting. It seems that he hasn't got too bad damage, if damage at all. Forgio, meantime, gets alongside Bahaja, coming down the middle straight, really, towards turn 7. He's on the outside, he'll brake late, and that'll give him the inside for the next turn. He gives Bahaja a lot of room, and he had no intention, I don't think, of going around the outside there and trying to keep that position. He just wanted to let Bahaja go and go on up the road. Well, not going up the road, but at least lead at this moment in the race. We're about a third of the way through already here, and Forgione letting Bahaja get on with this, and they're avoiding at the moment all of the carnage that we've seen behind. Jay Stearns into pit lane. We've already seen Aston Kulf and Joe De La Rosa into pit lane at the end of this lap as well. Unsurprisingly, Joe De La Rosa has a penalty. It was intentional, but he did brake far too late there and take the TCR leader at the time out of the race.
Yeah, could not be worse timing to miss your brakes there and actually collect the class leader in one of the other classes out on track. Absolutely not what any of the drivers are looking for. But yeah, De La Rosa, Kulf, Stern and Hutchins all coming in at the pits. Terry Visor is still in there. I'm not sure. He has got a lot of damage to repair by the looks of it. Oh, and De La Rosa's picked up a drive-through for speeding in the pit lane. Oh, Indianapolis never fails to bring up those surprises. In the TCRs, Lucas Blake is now the man leading on. We've just had another horror crash here. Dale Horn involved once again. Another one of the send at McLaren. So we've got a TCR heavy breaker on the outside. Oh, and that is... Oh, is that two send it cars? It is as well. They've gone full Haas there. Almost completely wiped one another out. And that is a big mistake there. Dale Horn finding himself out on the grass. Indianapolis. Oh, the battle for the lead again.
He goes for it down the inside. It's quite an unusual place to do it on the way towards that right-hander. David Webb is right in here as well. He was having a look down the inside from Forgione. So it's a dive down the inside at turn 10. He must have been working on that for a couple of corners, Forgione. He manages to get alongside, and Bahaja holds him off again. David Webb's seemingly not slowed down too much by that damage, but he's being helped by these two fighting so much. Here they come down the front straight again. Has the Lamborghini got the pace in a straight line? The slipstream here on the way towards turn 1 to make a move again in towards turn 1 this time. Here he comes. No, not this time. And Bahaja survives yet another attack there.
He does, yeah, but all three of these drivers are going to need to be very, very, very cautious because one Nicholas Heath has managed to close up that gap. It's gone from 4 seconds down to 1.1, and I think it's about to dip under a second very, very soon indeed. And Drew Collins is not too far behind either. We've got Nicholas Crawford, who's been eyeing up an overtake on Kyle Douglas for quite a few laps. They've caught up to John Bates in 7th. Scully, Bates and Douglas all up 7 places on where they started. Jeremy Newton down in 12th place. I do keep getting Jeremy mixed up because they've got the bearded thing. The Twitch names and stuff. But whoa, he's having a look up the inside. He's going to roll over the curbs. He's not going to have the momentum on that inside. I genuinely thought that car was about to tip over there. Back up at the front though, we've got more TCRs getting themselves overtaken by the GT3s, and Nicholas Heath is now within half a second of this group, Ewan. 1 became 2, became 3, very soon to become 4, and we've still... Oh, David Webb's come into the pits.
Wow, that's an interesting call. So he's gone early here. He can definitely make it to the end. And Forgione and Bahaja are fighting. Well, they need to work together at this point to try and beat Webb, but they're fighting super hard. Side-to-side contact again and again. They were rubbing door handles there. Here comes Forgione on turn 2. firing back down the inside once again. He'll get the outside for the next 2 turns though, and they've got to sort it out before the chicane. What a run round the outside from Forgione. They've got to figure this one out though before this chicane. They're going for it over the curve for Bahadja. Forgione runs wide. They're still side by side. Here comes Nicholas Heath. He's now involved because of the extraordinary fight for the lead. He looks to the inside of both of them. Smartly backs out of it. Forgione breaks late. He's on the inside and gets through. Bahadja makes absolutely sure that Heath doesn't follow him. And finally Max Forgione gets through. But you wonder how much it's cost these two, because David Webb's in the pit lane. He's just coming out now into some clean air on the racetrack. Well, at least in terms of battle for position anyway. And these two are busy fighting. Here comes Bahadja again through turn 11. And he's back through. Here comes Forgione though. In response, he fires back down the inside. There's contact again. Forgione now leads. Oh my goodness, this is quite a battle. And Bahadja doesn't want to be part of it anymore.
Yeah, no, Bahadja's backing out with this one. He has decided to make hay while the sun shines and make a pit stop while the fog is rolling in. So he's into the pits with Heath as Forgione, and Nicholas Heath now continue the battle up at the front. We've got 2 Lambos up at the front of the field now. Is that... Whoa, that's going to get close under braking again. But yeah, more pit stops coming in. So that is Bahadja coming in to the pits. Where is Webb? He is behind Lucas Blake, who is currently leading the way in the TCRs. He's got a 5-second gap over Sanders and Tilley. They're all looking pretty solid on that podium. Jay Stern mixed in there as well, but that is a big change there. There is David Webb though. Where is Bahadja? He is still stationary in his box, while Forgione and Nicholas Heath crack on with only 0.4 of a second separating them. He is still stationary as David Webb is on the start-finish line. This is going to be very close. This battle between them might have cost them time. Here comes Lewis Bahadja now on the pit exit. He is going to be released, and Webb, unsurprisingly to me, Ewan, he's got past by a considerable margin after that battle that these drivers had up at the front. David Webb now firmly in the driving seat to bring home a race win here.
Yeah, he was half a second quicker in the pit stop anyway, Webb, but the real gains were made with the battle there. That's still going on, by the way. Heath's getting past Forgione, and that's because of traffic, to be fair. Not an actual battle, I suppose, but Heath gets through because Forgione gets tied up with the TCR. Now, how does he manage this? I think he tries to go down the inside and he just gets blocked, and then he tries to go underneath the TCR, which was trying to stay out the way, and really it should have been on the racing line. Forgione will be unhappy with that, but Heath had the presence of mind there to see what was happening and just go around the outside of both of them.
Indeed, yeah, patience is certainly a virtue, and Forgione unfortunately picked the wrong path there, and that has given Nicholas Heath now the race lead. So it's our 4th race leader we've had in the GT3s. We'll see when they decide to come in and take their pit stop. We've got another incident, another Eskimo Tech replay. This one, I believe, is Dale Horn. Oh no, that is showing Jeremy Newton, but it's Dale Horn that we're looking for. I'm very confused. Bear with us a moment, folks. Let's see if we actually get... There we go. The Send It McLarens. We've already had some issue. Oh, and that is a tank slapper. That is some flat spotted tyres there, Ewan, and the Send It driver is very nearly sent it. That's David Webb that's just gone past there. So the race leaders in the GT3 almost going past. And unsurprisingly, it is now Forgione into the pit. Scully's just picked up a slowdown, which he served. Nicholas Heath is staying out. He fancies himself some track position. We've got another potential overtake with Kyle Douglas. But Bahadja is past. Oh no, he's not past David Webb. My apologies. He's 1.8 seconds down. But he's got a bit of time to make up there, Ewan.
Yeah, he does have some time to make up. Here comes Douglas down the inside of John Bates for 3rd. It's not going to be 3rd when the pit stops all work themselves out, but it is for now. He fires down the inside, and they were on a collision course for a moment there, but Douglas goes around the outside of turn 2 and he gets passed into 3rd. So on the podium as things stand, but as I say, there's a lot of stops to come. Only the top 5 have yet to be in now. Dale Horn and Daniel McMasters also haven't been in, along with some TCRs. Max Forgione into pit lane, so this is a big moment in this race as well. We'll see where David Webb is. He was a second, wow, fastest lap of the race so far from David Webb. That is not good news for Max Forgione, who's already behind them. Forgione was a second slower in the pits than Webb anyway. Here comes Collins and Horn in their fight, just in behind that rejoin where Forgione is behind both Webb and Bahagia. These two still side by side with Drew Collins on the inside. He's going to get through into ninth at the expense of Dale Horn, who gets onto the curb on the outside, and he goes for a spin coming through turn 4.
Oh, he does indeed. Yep, more off-track excursions. We'll get another quick look at that. You can see Dale here just not quite as planted. Touch on the curb. Yeah, you can't really accelerate, especially in these foggy conditions. You accelerate too hard on the curb and it will oversteer the car and send you, as we can see, off into the gravel. Max Forgione has come out with the pits and he's 1.5 seconds down on Lewis Buhagiar, who's 2.5 seconds down on our net race leader, who is David Webb. So he took that unfortunate shoulder charge into the wall. He's come out the pits and absolutely no messing about. The other drivers on the podium have done him a massive favour by having that extended battle out on track, and Webb is absolutely lapping this one up lap after lap. And yeah, he is absolutely our net race leader at the moment. Patterson, Bates, Douglas, Scully and Heath all still to take their pit stops. David Webb looking very good at the moment, and with this clear air that he's got now, Ewan, he's got 2.5 seconds back to Bahagia, so he can, and we've seen how quick he is compared to Bahagia. He's hung on to the back of him lap after lap. He is certainly looking in a very, very, very good position now, given that he's got no pressure whatsoever from the rest of his podium rivals here.
Yeah, indeed. This is a very smart call from David Webb to pit when he did, by the looks of things, and it's paid off for now. Stephen Scully's in pit lane meantime and dropping down the field. Here comes Chris Fitzgerald meantime on Jordan Nelson as well for 17th position. On the inside, Fitzgerald looks like he's going to go through here. On the brakes towards turn 12. Yep, we'll just close the door there, and he is through. So he's up to 17th for now. It's a remarkable recovery, really, because if you remember from the opening lap of this race, he had big trouble with I can't remember who he's spoken with now actually, but Jeremy Newton it was on the opening lap, and then he had that bigger crash on lap 2, which meant he had to do some repairs. You can fill up to the end though, right from the beginning of these races, because of the way of the format here. So Fitzgerald can make it to the end. He's just got a lot of work to do to get further up the field, and he is a lap down, so he has got an awful lot of work to do to get towards the front of the field. But it is a pretty remarkable recovery, the way he's been able to just continue on. As we go back to Kyle Douglas, who's just in front of John Bates, although Gilbert's just in between them. There goes Bates through on the lap card, so he's chasing down for second place again now.
Indeed, yeah, he is hunting, looking to get himself into overall second place. They do have pit stops still to take, but he is certainly... Oh no, there we go, and Bates comes in to the pits. Yeah, well beyond the halfway mark. We've got 14 laps left, 21 run and done. Douglas comes into the pits as well. And Nicholas Heath, actually, we're saying that Drew Collins... David Webb is our net leader. Let's not forget Nicholas Heath here. He was showing some good pace, and he is managing the race by staying out. So he is going long on his first stop. How much time can he gain on the rest of the podium drivers? Certainly Webb at the moment is looking pretty invincible. He's already 3 seconds ahead of Buhagiar, who's 2.5 seconds ahead of Forgione. So those three well and truly spread out at the moment and running their own races, and that's exactly what Heath is doing here as well. He is certainly going to be one to watch when he comes in and out of the pits, as more drivers do come in. That is Bates, Douglas and Pattinson all coming in to the pits, and Lucas Blake is in the pit exit as well. Now he is our TCR leader, I believe, and he's got Robinson a fair chunk of change down the road. So Blake looking good this week. He's not had the best start to the TCR career so far. This one is certainly looking to be an improvement. He's 9 seconds ahead of Robinson, so it's been an absolutely solid drive. Terry Visser did come back out of the pits after a long stop to get damage repaired. He is down in 6th position. But Lucas at the moment is looking to absolutely run away with this one as Brodie Daff is trying to overtake Dale Horn. Nicholas Heath finally comes into the pits as well. It's all happening, Ewan.
Well, it must be the end of the road in terms of fuel now, because there's nobody else left to have stopped in the entire field. So Nicholas Heath has probably done well to get this far, up to 21 laps into this race. We'll see how far he drops down the field. These two are going to unlap themselves, therefore. Dale Horn defends quite late, but he does get to the inside in front of Brodie Daff, who is forced to go through the middle here. That's Terry Visser, the GCR, and he's not going to get much space out there, Brodie Daff. Dale Horn didn't give him much, but nor did he have to. And Brodie Daff spins coming out of turn 2, just getting on the power. Too heavy right foot, and the Ferrari goes into a spin.
It does indeed, yeah, as you say, too heavy on the loud pedal, and that will be your downfall. And I tell you what, he's had an absolute blinder here. Nicholas Heath has got himself back out in third, and just ahead of Max Forgione. These two have already had a battle pre-pit stop, but Webb, he's been putting in those consistent laps. Might not have been the quickest, but it's certainly the most consistent that we've seen so far, and it's put him in a perfect position to try and bring home a podium. So great strategy by Heath. He's got himself in this podium battle. He does have one Max hard charging Forgione just behind him. Oh, as Brodie Daff picks up a meatball flag, so he's going to come back into the pits. But certainly this is going to absolutely be one to watch. And David Webb, I don't think we've even got a camera quick enough to watch him at the moment. He's 3.5 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. Buhagiar in second place, and then this fascinating battle as Forgione tries to send it up the inside. He does manage to avoid making contact. Heath does avoid losing the position, but Forgione on the much warmer tyres, and he is absolutely looking to retake the podium as quickly as he can.
Indeed. To be honest, I'm surprised that Heath got out in front of Forgione anyway, but that's another issue. Forgione needs to try and get back onto this podium. He's going to fake one way and then go the other. There he goes. He had a look one, and now he dives down the inside. Can he brake late enough? Oh, he doesn't give much room, but he does give enough. That's great respect between these two, pushing each other just as hard as possible, and in the end they give each other just about enough. Forgione on the inside, though, surely going to get the place. Heath on the curb there, braking is a pretty dangerous game, but he's going to stay alongside. Not quite. Forgione through. Oh, and he bounces over the curbs there, Heath. He should be okay, though, as long as he didn't get a slowdown there. He might even have a decent run towards turn 7 if he can possibly manage it. Here he goes looking down the inside. He cannot get through quite. Forgione regains that podium. As I say, I'm surprised that Heath was ever in front of him anyway, but Forgione got himself back through, and great respect shown between the two of them, because they didn't give each other much room, but just about enough.
Massive amounts of respect. Why does the camera keep changing on me? I've no idea. It's got a mind of its own today, completely and utterly. But there we go, back to that battle. But yeah, just enough room and respect between the two of them. Some very, very, very hard racing here. I'm sure both drivers absolutely loving what they're getting involved in here. But that is Forgione back onto the pits. We'll see. Heath does have a bit of lap, and his tyres will be back in the window, which is what he'll be hoping for. Of course, Forgione's tyres will have been well up to temperature when he got onto the back of Heath, so Heath now looking to do the same. And into turn number 1, he is going to be within a tenth and a half. Is he going to send it up the inside on the brakes? Nope, the sides against. A few of them remain third and fourth. Certainly they're going to help their chances of catching the drivers ahead. But this final podium position is an absolute hot... All three positions have been a hot potato. And we've got Jack Tovey, who's had an incident as well. Oh my word. That is about as clumsy as it gets. And
wow.
Tovey...
Oh, careful!
Some mess.
Oh! Jeez. I mean, that's why... I mean, yeah, don't do that whenever you're rolling backwards. Just don't just turn on the racetrack like that. Here goes Heath down the inside of Forgione. I thought it would be over, but Nicholas Heath is fighting back, and he's looking for that podium again. He's on the inside through turn 12. That was a nice dive down the inside there, and more contact, and again, oh, big slide, very big slide. Heath able to stay in front, and Forgione gets put back to fourth, and again a big defence from Heath. This battle could go on for the next 12 laps. This is a great fight between these two, 11 laps rather. Heath getting back in front of Forgione once again, who might well have responded towards turn 1.
Indeed, yeah, Forgione, I think, will have another go at this into turn number 1. As you can see in that slipstream, he is massively closing that gap. He is keeping him well and truly on his toes. We've seen what Forgione can do so far this season, and he's going to have to pull out some kind of wonder overtake if he is going to get this move done. And make it stick, and there's a little bit of lag there, but on Heath with his exit, he lost a lot of momentum and takes a little tap in the rear from Forgione. Drew Collins cannot believe his luck. He is watching these two potentially throw a podium position his way with the full-blooded battling that they're doing at the moment. But certainly this is one that is not going to go away anytime soon, and we are absolutely here for it. Forgione indicating he was going to take the inside there. He just has a wiggle back onto the line. This is going to be an absolute cracker. Lewis Behadjer's picked up a slowdown. The rough salt on the wind. Behadjer's picked up a slowdown.
That is in the end going to be inconsequential because David Webb's so far in front and these two are fighting so much, and in any case they're quite far behind anyway. There's a look down the inside from Heath. He can't quite do it though on the way towards turn 12, and actually that's a much better line from Heath, so Forgione's going to have to do some work to catch up. But the problem these two have got now is that Drew Collins is not that far away, and if they fight even one more time then he'll be on them, and Jeremy Newton won't be too far behind, and he will be very quick, don't forget, because he qualified third. Has just had trouble earlier on in this race. So the danger for these two now is if they continue fighting like this, they could be dragged into a whole load of different battles in the latter stages of this race.
Indeed they could, yeah. And we are well and truly in the latter stages. Quick update on the TCRs. They've been fairly well spread out after those early battles, and it's Lucas Blake who did quite fancy his chances here at Indianapolis, and he is looking to bring home an absolutely solid race win. He's actually got a GT3 car, and Joe Della Rosa tucked in there, separating him from, of course, Della Rosa with that contact earlier on, missed his brakes and completely annihilated Terry Vizzer, who's back down in 6th with Della Rosa in the middle of that pack there. It's Patrick Robinson currently running in 2nd place, 14 seconds down, and Zach Vliestra, here he is being overtaken by Lewis Behadjer. He is in 3rd place with Sanders, Tilley, Vizzer and Carney making up the rest of the field at the moment, but it's still this battle up at the front between Heath and Forgione that we're going to have to keep an eye on. Stephen Scully and Nicholas Crawford certainly starting to get close to one another, but these two for this final podium position, yeah, absolutely, it's a coin flip for me here, who comes out on top on the podium. Both drivers have shown some very, very solid offence and defence so far. A movable object meeting an unstoppable force, and these two forcing their way through the air down the start-finish straight. Goes for a bit of a wiggle there, tries to force a defensive move or mistake out of Heath. Nothing doing this time, and Forgione is going to need to plan harder to try and get the car ahead. I did think that Forgione would manage to stay ahead of Heath for a bit. They've got another TCR, and there we go. That's the story that Nicholas Heath has seen before. That's how he got this position initially, and again took the right position, absolutely thrown it over the curbs. The car's completely bouncing, and Forgione, he's still got it all to do here, I think, Ewan.
He absolutely has. He's in a fight here for a podium, and he's accidentally gone down the inside this time at turn 7. Not sure he intended that at all, but he very nearly made it pay, as he's now going to do to Heath what Heath did to him for turn 10. Not quite able to that time round, and his line was a bit wrong there, and so Heath is going to get a little bit further away now, as another one of the TCRs just swings wide for them. By the way, Lucas Blake leading in the TCRs. Those battles have very much gone away now. Still 29 drivers in this race, by the way, of the 30 drivers in this race. All 30 who started are still in the race, which is pretty remarkable, including all of the TCRs and all the GT3s. Well, that is remarkable in itself, with only 8 laps to go. Heath with a bit of breathing space, although it might only be brief, over Max Forgione.
Yeah, he's managed to get himself a bit of a breakaway. He's not given him as much slipstream as he has on previous laps, and that gap now up to 2.5 Forgione with a sudden drop off in pace there. I'm not sure if he's made a mistake or he's just run his tyres a bit too ragged, but yeah, that is a big gap that he's now got to Nicholas Heath. It's going to be a close one. We've got Chris Fitzgerald looking for an overtake on Dale Horn. We've already seen these two go at it. We'll see if it comes out any better for them this time. There was a bit of contact between the two earlier on. The teammates as well, definitely not the way you want that to play out. And it's another TCR, that's Lucas Blake. Oh no, sorry, that's Patrick Robinson, who finds himself taking the inside line as these two still crack on. Forgione still losing a bit of pace to Heath. Jeremy Newton is closing in on Drew Collins though, as Horn and Fitzgerald that we're watching. Daniel Hutchins is just on a bit of an off-track. Buhagiar with another slowdown penalty. He is going to have to be careful here, and if he picks up too many of them, it's a trip through the pits. I mean, the slowdowns might be reasonably inconsequential, but a drive-through, not so much.
Well, that is true. It will probably drop him outside the top, well, definitely drop him outside the top 5 as Fitzgerald there got through and immediately gives up that position as he brakes too late at turn 1. Meantime, fastest lap of the race set by Jeremy Newton. He closes on to the back of Drew Collins, and as the battle between Heath and Forgione has just petered out here, they're unlikely now, these two, to actually catch up to them, especially with Newton battling with Collins. There might be time left in the race, to be fair, though. There's only a second and a half between Forgione and Collins. But Newton looking on a charge here. We saw him earlier with trouble as he made contact with Chris Fitzgerald on the opening lap. And he's now recovering these positions. Jeremy Newton looking to get back into the top 5 here at the expense of Drew Collins. This is where the fighting is really in the final moments of this race.
Indeed, yeah, a couple of scraps that are brewing there. Horn and Fitzgerald still going in at Collins and Newton, and of course Forgione and Heath for that final podium position. 6 laps left to go. What a race it's been for David Webb. He is going to be absolutely delighted to bring home the race win. He took pole position. And Forgione just getting bogged down with one of the TCRs there. That's opened that gap up massively, and it's bringing Collins and Newton right into the hunt. And just quick apology for yesterday, Jeremy Newton and Jason Snedden. I do keep getting the two of them mixed up. It's because Jason Snedden drives for a team with the name Bearded in it, and Jeremy Newton on Twitch has the word Bearded in his name. So it's why I keep getting the two of them mixed up. So apologies if I do call one the other. If I call Newton Snedden and vice versa, but it's because their team name and Twitch names are so closely connected, it does throw me for a loop. But Newton at the minute, he's looking to throw Collins for a loop. They're 2.5 seconds down on the podium battle ahead, but certainly 5th place is a decent amount of points haul, and we have a battle forming actually in the TCRs. It looks like Michael Sanders is trying to cook himself up and overtake all the KFC jokes. Can I actually find him? There he is, there in the TCRs, and he's almost able to use that send at Ferrari, send at McLaren to his advantage there, and it is up the inside. Sanders is going to take this move, take this position here. Oh,
Jesus.
That'll stop your heart, I'll tell you. I'll do a lot more than stop your heart. Clean up on aisle 3, please, for several of the drivers involved there. But that's Sanders taking the position from Vliestra, and that is a good breakaway he's got there, but that was very nearly a bit of contact. More than enough room left by all the drivers, and McLaren trying to sneak his way through here. Pattinson trying to get his way past, but I tell you, Sanders is doing an absolutely bang up job holding his line, and Vliestra is now the closest car to him as Pattinson does make his way through. It's still very close up at the front as well. Jeremy Newton right on the back of Drew Collins. He really is charging in these closing stages. We've only got 4 laps left. How do these races disappear so quickly? It's absolutely it's crazy, isn't it, Ewan? Just 1 minute it's lap 1, next minute it's lap 31, and we're trying to figure out who we think's going to finish on the podium. Yeah,
it is remarkable. I mean, these races are, 40... Oh, no! Was that contact for Newton there with Carney, who... or was that Blake even? Was that Lucas Blake who was trying to stop Newton from heading down the inside? There was a big risk for a class leader to take. In fact, it is Lucas Blake, but yeah, they do really fly by. I mean, I'd say they're only 45-50 minutes in length, these races normally. No safety cars here today either, which has helped us carry on well, but... yeah, there's that they do fly by constantly. Things to look at, battles on the racetrack. And we're seeing that right to the very end here as well. 4 laps to go for David Webb, who we've not spoken of too much in the second half of this race, but what a strategy call from him. He's leading and controlling this race now, and he's just not got to make an error from now until the finish.
Oh, bless me. I do love having hay fever. It's so much fun. It honestly, it's the best. It's an absolute highlight. Oh, sorry. Oh, there we go. I completely lost my train of thought there. But let's jump on board with Jeremy. Sorry, Ewan, there was a question in there, I'm sure. But yeah, my eyeballs are watering furiously at the moment. We've got Chris Fitzgerald coming into the pits. Collins and Newton. Interestingly, we were talking about Max Forgione being a potential podium sitter. He might drop outside the top 3 here. He is losing pace hand over fist to Collins and Newton approaching. And that will be something that Newton will be very, very happy about, because he will be the third driver in this little equation, although we do have a battle going on for the podium as well in the TCRs, as Vliestra is right on the back of Michael Sanders. So Michael Sanders did get the overtake done, but Vliestra not done with this battle at all. He has got himself the scent. He's got himself the whiff of a podium in those nostrils, and that has certainly flared them, and it has flared his use of that accelerator. He's within 0.5 of a second. We've got another couple of battles forming as well. McMasters and Nelson getting close. Buhagiar crosses the line to finish lap number 33, as these two TCRs find themselves with one Joe Della Rosa, and can confirm actually Joe, he got himself a stop-go penalty. That's how bad it was, and again the camera just randomly changing. Thank you very much, SDK. But yeah, Joe Della Rosa, he picked up a drive-through, a stop-go, so that's why he's tumbled almost to the very back of the GT3 grid. That grid which is being led massively by David Webb. What a performance by him. As Ewan mentioned, we've hardly seen him on camera in the second half of the race, because he's been absolutely flawless. He has done a Buhagiar, as we say around these parts. He has run away with it. He's got himself a 5-second lead. Max Forgione, who was once looking good to get himself on the podium, is now fighting for his life. Oh no, he's not fighting for his life to hold on to fourth. He's closed back to within a second, and Nicholas Heath. Heath got himself some back markers to deal with as well. I tell you, there might be another sting in the tail yet, Ewan. We've only got a couple of laps left to go, but Indianapolis in these conditions does not disappoint, and Max Forgione is looking very quick indeed.
Yeah, they seem to be all sort of within a second of one another now, but there's not long to go. Just 2 laps, including the one that we're just about to begin now. Here comes Newton. He's closest to making a move here on Collins on the way towards turn 1. That's a lap car, Dale Horn, getting out the way there for Forgione, but he slips in the middle of this group here, just Horn. So that will just split these guys apart for a little bit longer as well, as the lap traffic really gets involved now. That's going to slow down Collins, and now he's got a decision as to where to go. He's going to go around the outside. Horn breaks early on the inside, but that really allows Newton to catch up.
It really does, yep. That has brought Newton right back into focus for Collins here. Only a couple of tenths of a second now separate them, and Forgione is right back. I've all but written him off, and Nicholas Heath is now regretting me doing that, because he is back to within the half a second. We're on the penultimate lap, and we have no idea who's going to finish on the podium in either of the classes, because Vliestra is still on the back of Sanders. Can't use that phrase at this time of day, so we'll crack on. He is very close. He is very close. Oh, and Tim Pattinson has had a crash. Let's have a look at this this replay brought to us by Eskimo Tech. And it is Pattinson once again.
Whoa.
Oh, completely missing his brakes again. The McLarens really are struggling around here this week. Really, really, really struggling.
White flags out, by the way, for David Webb out front, leading by 4.5 seconds. The gap coming down towards the end here, but a comfortable margin for him at the end here. Heath still just in front of Forgione. Newton not far behind Collins on the way towards turn 1 here. So how are these battles going to be settled on the last lap? Collins with more traffic here on this last lap is pleased to see Hutchins pull off to the side of the road there to let them through. He's the last running car, by the way, in this race, down at the very back. Through the chicane, and Newton just can't seem to get close enough. This is one of the best overtaking chances remaining on the lap, coming down in towards turn 7, but I'm not sure he's close enough. He's trying to get in the mirrors, he's trying to look around. He is not close enough from all that distance back, though. So Collins able to hold on surely now as they come towards the end of the lap. But into the final sector for David Webb. He's got the battle in TCR of Sanders and Vlietstra just in behind him for a podium place. And this is coming towards the line for those two as David Webb comes through the final corner. He is going to win round 3 of the Hybrid Simsport Road Series in the Tasman Racing League. It is David Webb to take his first victory of the season. 3 different winners in 3 weeks. Webb wins at Indianapolis in the end by only just over 3 seconds. In the background, Sanders just holds off Vlietstra, and Heath hangs on from Forgione to win, to finish on the podium rather, which will feel like a win for Nicholas Heath.
Yeah, well, yes. There we go, some late drive-throughs coming in. Let's get Lucas Blake crossing the line as well. Apparently that was easy for me to say. There he is there in the TCRs. He will be delighted with his result. As you mentioned as well, Nicholas Heath, he is going to be a very happy driver to fend off Max Forgione all the way to the end there. 0.4 of a second separated them across the line. Could not have been much closer. There is Lucas Wow, I am really struggling to say Lucas Blake today. Purple burglar alarm. Yeah, no, everything still works. But he comes around the last corner. And he will cross the line, and he will take a very good win. Vlietstra already getting the checkered flag. If he had just been a few more yards ahead, himself and Sanders would have got another lap, but it's Blake on the top spot, and it's going to be Patrick Robinson bringing home second place. And Michael Sanders, the Colonel, was cooking in third tonight, and he got himself on to the podium. Another absolute Indianapolis cracker, and TRL never fails to disappoint you.
Yeah, indeed. A fantastic race once again for round 3 of our championship, and we'll talk to the guys who finished on the podium in a short while. But we'll have a look at the race results first of all. Those are the qualifying results. Thanks.
I love SDK.
Yeah, there we go. Race results. 3.2 seconds the winning margin in the end for David Webb, who wins tonight in front of Lewis Bahagia. Nicholas Heath holds on from Max Forgione, Drew Collins, Jamie Newton, all in that group inside the top 6. Nicholas Crawford next ahead of Stephen Scully with John Bates. Tim Pattinson rounding out the top 10. Carl Douglas and Aaron Gilbert were the last drivers on the lead lap, with Aston Culf 1 lap down in 13th, ahead of Dale Horn and Jordan Nelson the top 15. Chris Fitzgerald recovered from his lap 2 crash on to finish 16th, ahead of Daniel McMasters and Jay Stern. Jason Hutchins 2 down, with Brody Daff rounding out the top 20 behind him. A little bit further down in the field, second page, maybe one day. There we go. Joe De La Rosa finished in 21st after that big crash coming towards turn 7, as we saw earlier. Lucas Blake, though, wins in the TCR class in front of Patrick Robinson and Michael Sanders, who gets onto the podium on that last lap there, ahead of Zach Vlietstra. Rob Tilley, Terry Visser, Dave Carney, Daniel Hutchins, the others in the TCR field. And that is your lot. That is the 29 cars who started and all finished this race, thankfully. Glad to say we can chat now to the podium drivers of both classes, starting with David Webb, the overall race winner here tonight. Evening, David. Congratulations on a race win tonight. I want to talk about your pit strategy, because to me it seems that's what has won you this race. What was it that made you decide to come in when you did, when you were running up towards the front already, just in behind and around Lewis Bahagia?
Well, I think it was a three-way battle, and I could see the relative behind as well to the cars behind. We were just losing time, having a bit of a three-way battle. So I was at the back of the 3, and I just dived into pitch, wanted to get a bit of clean air. As soon as I got that clean air, I think that's what sort of got me that track position there. But the race start, Lewis had an amazing race start there. I bogged down my start, and there was a drag race at the first corner, and then it was a really good battle from there.
Yeah, it was a fantastic battle to watch. Were you expecting the lead that you got, though, when you came out the pit lane, or were you expecting more of the same sort of fighting in that second half of the race?
I don't know what I was expecting. I think maybe I thought I was going to come out just slightly ahead. But yeah, no, I didn't really have any expectations. It was just wanted to see where I come out at.
Well, congratulations on coming out and holding on to the race win tonight, and thanks for coming to chat to us at the end of the race as well.
Yep, cheers, thank you.
Thanks very much. David Webb, the winner tonight, just in front of Lewis Bahadur, who also joins us. Lewis, just over 3 seconds the gap at the end. Talk us through that moment from your point of view, and maybe talk to us a little bit about the first part of the race in terms of the actual fighting as well, because it wasn't just you and David. We had Max Forgione in there as well, and a number of others who were sort of lurking. What was that first part of the race like?
Oh, the first part of the race was just fun. I didn't have the pace at all this whole week. Through testing, I was about the 5th fastest. I knew that it was going to be a battle, and I got a good start, and I thought, bugger it, and tried to make it as hard as I possibly could for whoever wanted to pass me. I had an absolute ball. It was probably one of the funnest races I've ever had.
In terms of this track, what is it? Just one that you've never got on with, or has this been developing over the course of this week? Because it is unusual for us to see not the quickest, or at least very near to the quickest in the field.
It's always just been a little bit off the pace. Same as Barcelona for next week, and they're probably my 2 worst tracks on the calendar. So, it's just, I don't know. It's just something with me and this track just don't really gel.
Well, congratulations in that case to getting to second in any case, and thanks for coming to chat to us at the end as well.
Thanks for that, Owen, and big congratulations to Dave.
Absolutely. Lewis Bahadur, second place in tonight's race at Indianapolis. In the end, about 7 or so seconds in front of Nicholas Heath, who joins us from 3rd position tonight. Welcoming Nicholas as well. The first half of the race was all about that fight for the lead, as we've been talking about, but the second half and the very end of the race was all about that fight for 3rd place between yourself, Max Forgione, and in the end, Drew Collins, Jeremy Newton were not that far away from all that fighting either. Just talk us through that final part of the race from your perspective, and how, in your opinion, you were able to get into 3rd position by the finish there. Hello, Nicholas. Are you there? You're on mute at the moment. If you're talking to yourself.
Sorry about that. I managed to get a somewhat decent start by my standards, and I think gained a place off the line, and through that first 3 or 4 corners, 3 cars ahead of me went off, so gained like 4 on the first lap, and was a distant 4th to the top 3 kind of until they started to pit, but I was just hoping to stay close for the first part, and then just stay out as long as I could and lead a few laps. So that was a really good start, and sorry, so I'm sweating like crazy and just relax.
Yeah, I can imagine, because that battle at the end was quite something to watch. I mean, what were the key points in terms of making an overtake around here? It wasn't possible for everybody, but you were able to go back and forth with Max Forgione on a couple of occasions there. What was the key to having that battle and making passes around this circuit?
I think early on I was just trying to keep close to the guys ahead, and predominantly Max there, and then they all kind of peeled off earlier to take their pit stops, and I was kind of surprised I managed to jump Max there at the pits by, I think, stayed out 3 or 4 laps longer. But that last third of the race was stressful like you wouldn't believe, just trying to get away from him. It was always around a second and a half gap, and just kept me honest for that last part of the race for sure.
Yeah, well, congratulations again on getting the podium tonight, and thanks for chatting to us at the end as well.
Oh, cheers.
Thanks very much. Nicholas Heath, the 3rd place driver overall here tonight. Let's go down to TCR, where Lucas Blake also joins us from winning the TCR class. Congratulations, Lucas. We didn't see too much of you later on in the race. I must say the battle early on was exciting to watch, but what would you say was the key moment for yourself, getting it clear of the rest of the field and getting away with the race win here today?
I think the strategy was the main thing. that ended up winning it. I think it came down to a strategy battle between Patrick and I there late in the race. And I had a really lucky break, unfortunately, when Terry got taken out as well. I'd been sitting right on his bumper for the whole race. He was faster than me in practice. I was faster than him in qualifying, but we were always close. It was looking like it was going to be a great battle, and I hate to see it end that way for him. Just gutted for him, but you can only play the cards you're dealt.
Yeah, indeed. What's this season been like for TCRs so far? We've not seen too many different race winners, to be honest, over the course of this season yet in TCR. Terry Visser taking victories. But how have you been finding the new TCR season?
I love the car. It's so fun, and I feel like it races wheel to wheel so well, and it's forgiving when you make a mistake, which is nice for someone like me who does make mistakes. I really enjoyed that stint there in the first half of this race where there were about 6 of us all running nose to tail under maybe 2 seconds between us, and it was just a fantastic time. It was a fantastic little battle. I think the cars drive together great. Unfortunately, I do feel like the season's been a little bit marred by contact between classes so far, but I think a lot of that is just, these are the first multi-class races we've ever run in TRL, and I do think people are still just figuring it out.
Yeah, well, understandable indeed as well. Lucas, thanks for chatting to us. Congratulations again on the TCR win tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Lucas Blake, the winner in TCR tonight. They're just in front in the end of Patrick Robinson, who finishes second and also joins us. Patrick, welcome in. Second place for yourself tonight. What was the difference in the end, would you say? Because early on it was very close actually across the board in TCR, but did spread out quite a lot towards the end.
Yeah, I led for the first couple of laps and decided I would pit early when the GT3 leaders were coming around, which seemed okay, but in the end I think I just didn't have the pace to keep up with Lucas, who was really fast and too fast for me in the end. But yeah, I think also I've just had a lot of experience with multi-class, and I've raced it quite a bit in PCC, so I felt like that was my advantage. I felt like I managed that pretty well.
In terms of this race, how was it coming off the back of last week? Because St. Petersburg was one of the most extraordinary races we've had in the TRL, certainly since I've been watching the Road Series anyway. What was it like coming off the back of that last week, coming into not a normal road course really, Indianapolis, but back to some sort of road course anyway?
Yeah, it was a lot more forgiving for the sort of multi-class, right? Because we just had so much more room to work around each other. St. Petersburg, we really did not have much room to move around and maneuver and avoid each other. So it was a lot easier to manage and deal with.
Congratulations on a second place run tonight, Patrick, and thanks for chatting to us at the end as well.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Patrick Robinson in second, just in front of Michael Sanders, who is with us as well. Michael, what about this race here tonight for yourself? It's a third place finish, just in front of Zach Vlitstra. We saw a little bit of your battle towards the line there. The winning margin, if you like, for third was just 0.3 of a second at the end. What was that late battle like with Zach Vlitstra?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I was chasing him down for the last probably 10 or so laps, and I'd seen the gap slowly decreasing, so I knew I had the pace on him, but once I got in front of him, he stuck to me really well and really battled me for the rest of the time, and he managed to make some really good time when I had to let GT3s through, they pushed their way through. I had to really watch out for that, and he was trying to dive through with them a couple of times, so it was a good battle, and yeah, good fun right to the end.
I mean, early on in the race was lots of fighting as well in the TCR class, but it seemed to spread apart then, sort of as traffic I guess it's just the race wears on as normal, really. Is it just the fact that there's GT3 traffic coming through that really splits the TCR field apart every week because of the just stuff that happens in multi-class racing, or do you think that's a natural evolution of the race that was happening anyway? Because it was notable tonight just how close it was early on, and then obviously the gap's quite large by the end.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. Like, there's definitely the traffic plays a part in it, but Lucas had a good second of pace on even at some of us when he got clean air. So it was, and he seemed to be able to hold that for longer in his stints than I could. I was really destroying the tyres by the end. And I know that last few laps, every time I braked, the whole steering wheel was vibrating violently. I'd flat spotted my tyres. They were horrible at the end. So I was really struggling around those last few laps. And I think it was just, pushing too hard at times.
Well, congratulations on getting to the podium tonight, Michael, and thanks for chatting to us at the end as well.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Michael Sanders on the podium as well in TCR. John, that's just about it from us here tonight. A good round to sort of return to reality a little bit, because we had such a race at St. Petersburg 1 week ago. We're not going to get used to this just yet because we've got Adelaide in 2 weeks, but it was returning to a little bit of normality, it felt at times tonight.
It did, yes. Normal service has been resumed. Thank you, Indianapolis. As was just alluded to there by one of our TCR drivers. A much wider course, much more room for them to manoeuvre past one another, and a lot less tricky overtakes. Still a bit of contacts here and there between the classes, but some beautiful racing tonight and some absolutely enthralling battles from start to finish. And very much looking forward now to Catalonia, one of my all-time favourite tracks. I absolutely adore Catalonia, even if they did take out the final chicane, which is one of the most interesting parts of the track. Goodness knows why they decided to do that. But yeah, certainly, I mean, in Adelaide, we'll gird our loins for that in a couple of weeks, but certainly Barcelona next week should see a continuation of the action that we've seen tonight, Ewan, and very, very, very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, indeed. It is sort of a double header of road courses again, bookended by street circuits, because the race before that mid-season classic is at Adelaide on the 21st of May. But yeah, next week is Catalonia. That's on the 14th of May. Same time, same place here on TrackSpotTV for that one. So make sure you join us for that. This has been the Hybrid Simsport Road Series here at the Tasman Racing League here tonight. I've been Ewan O'Leary alongside John Wright. Until we see you again in 1 week's time in Catalonia, it's goodbye for now.